Hello everyone. Very good morning and good evening to all. Thanks for joining. Let us start our today's session. In our today's session, we are going to learn these concepts. So this is totally like front-end technologies, and these are all the concepts we are going to learn today. So first of all, we will see what is web service and what is API and what is REST API. So how to use our web service transformation in our IICS. Okay, these are all related to our front-end technologies. So if you have already worked on this API and front end, then it will be very easy for you to understand. Okay, but anyhow, I will explain. So instead of directly going with web services, if you know what is web service, what is API, so what is REST API, if you know everything, then it is very easy to understand. So first you will see what is web service. Okay, so first of all, what is service? So if you ask, so what is meant by service? So if you have, okay, so you are going to a shop. Okay, assume that you are going to a shop and you are looking for some products. Okay, some product you are looking for, and you are searching for that product, but that particular product is not, you are not able to find that product. And you are going to that particular vendor and then you are asking, or the billing counter, you are asking that representative, so where is that product, right? So that question is like request. So you're asking something, then he will respond or she will respond, right? So this will be a that will be a response. See, if you have a client here, if you say for an example here, I have a client. So normally web service, this is what we will call it as. So here we have the client and here we have the server. Okay, so we can say it's like a service provider or whatever it may be. Okay, service provider or server or so this particular client, okay, this particular client, he is going to request, okay, request something to this particular service provider. So this will be your request. This client will send a request to the service provider. So this client will ask some service, some request to this service provider. This will be your request. Okay, this will be your request. Then the service provider, for that particular request, they will provide a response, right? So here we will get the response. For the client, we will get the response. So this will be your response. So for the particular request, this will be our response. So this is what normally. So normally this is what we will get always. So if it is on the internet, like if it is on the web or internet, okay, so it is called web service. Okay, so if it is on the web or internet, okay, so we can call it as it's a web service. And here the client is nothing but, so we are the client. Okay, the client machine, the front end we are setting, and then we are typing something, and we are requesting something to a server or the service provider. Then the service provider will respond to the request. So if it is happening, if the service provider is giving you the service, right? If it is happening on the web, it is called web service. Okay. Say for an example, I can take, okay, a service. If you ask what is web service, so what is web service? A service so provided from one application to another application So over the web or internet is called web service. So you'd have heard about this web service. See, for the web service, we have a lot of languages, right? So these languages you might have heard about. Like you'd have heard about this XML, then this WSDL, then Java. So these kind of languages we would have seen. And we do have a lot of protocols. A protocol like UDDA. See, these are all something like we have already seen some, if you do have and SOAP. So it is nothing but simple object access protocol. Okay, so SOAP, UDDI. So these kind of protocols we might have used, heard about this, right? So these are all the things we will use in our web service. Okay, so one example I will say, I will tell you one example so that you can easily understand what is this web service. For an example, we want to move from one location to another location. Say for an example, India to USA or India to some different location, Australia, some different location I want to move. So first of all, what we will do normally, so if I want to book a ticket, a flight ticket, if I want to move, then so two ways we can book a flight ticket, right? We can go to the respective the airlines and you can book the tickets. You can go to respective airlines and you can book the ticket, and or you can go to some service provider, right? So you have some we have some providers like Make My Trip. You assume that this is my Make My Trip. Okay. So I'm going to this Make My Trip, this particular website or applications from my mobile, okay, smartphones or applications or my system. So from Make My Trip to this particular airlines site. Okay, so airlines. So how we will book? So we will search for this particular location from to on particular date. We will search it and a request from here from this client. Okay, this client will be this application. The request will be sent to this particular airlines. So do you think this particular airlines will give their database access to this particular Make My Trip or any other applications? Whether they will give access to any other third-party vendors? No, right? They will not give access to any other third-party vendors, anyone, right? So if I have one bank, whether the other bank will give access to any other bank database? No, they will not give access, right? So what we will do? So normally this Make My Trip, okay? So we'll request to this airlines through a web, and this particular airlines will give a service through web over the web. So this service is called web service. Okay, this airlines, right? This service is called a web service. So this will ask, okay, I need to book a ticket for my customer from this location to this location. Then they will give something like they will give some code or something. They will send a service through web. Okay, so that service is called web service. So they will not give access to their DB. Say for an example, so Make My Trip also, they will use some DB. So here also they will use some DB, right? So this particular airlines, if I'm booking, okay, say for an example, 100 tickets are available. Okay, for this particular location, 100 tickets are available. So from Make My Trip, I'm requesting, and then here I'm giving that response. This particular customer has booked the ticket, and this should be showing like 99, right? Showing like 99. The same thing should be reflected here also, right? Here also. Then only this particular application or somebody else, some other applications. Instead of make my trip, you can go for any other flight services, right? Sorry, the application to book a flight. So if they are booking, yes, the call API call will be made to this particular database, and they will not give access to their database. They will give service over the web, is called web service. Okay. The interface we are going to have here, so that interface is called API. Okay. So application programming interface. So this is what will happen in the real-time projects whenever we are going for API related stuff. Okay. So if you ask what is API, so this is web service, right? So web service is nothing but service we are providing through web. So that is called web service. But for an example, what is meant by API? So can you tell one example for API? So API means, say for an example, I want to build a website. Okay. So I want to build a website, and here I'm going to build a website. Okay, assume that I want to build a website. So I'm giving some informations and I want to make some users here. So I want to put some sign in button. Okay, do you want to sign in? So I can make some details. I can ask some details here, right? I can ask some details. And if you see some places, you might be seeing sign in with Facebook, sign in with Google. So all this you are able to see here, right? They are not asking all other information. So they will get the information you have already signed in with the, the Google or Facebook, right? So this kind of information you would have seen, right? So I'm going to sign in. So enter your email or password or something. They'll be asking the sign in button. Instead of that, they'll be asking, okay, sign in using by Facebook, Twitter, or Google, something like this. So what is this actually? So if I'm going to build a website, okay, if I'm going to build a website, so instead of getting all the information and asking like sign in button from everything, so readily available APIs. Okay, so you can get so that information from these service providers. So you can get those information and you can use these API codes into your page. So you can embed this API code into your page, then this sign in button, okay, sign in button, login button. So all this it will be showing here. So that means the reusability. So you are not going to do anything, and the customer can able to already logged in with the Google, then they can able to log in here, right? So that information we will get it from the respective service providers, Google or something. Say for an example, Zomato or Ola, Uber, these companies are using location to identify. Even I want to use a customer's locations. So here, or I want to show them where this particular place located exactly, right? I want to give some places here, address and their location. Then if they click on this particular location, then it is very easy to locate them to find my office address or my location, right? Then in order to use this location, I have to use the Google geolocation API. Okay. Say for an example, if I want to use something like sometimes they will ask this type of question, right? So this particular website would like to share your location with this site. If you are giving agree, then this particular Google, they will give your information to them, right? So that's what. See, this is one of the API we are going to embed here in our site. And then this location will be tracked by using the geolocation API. See, if I want to use in my website, they will be providing some API code. See here. So here we have to put our own API key. Based on that, they will give you this particular location. So you need to embed this particular code into your backend. Then So you can able to get the response from the geolocation API. So these are all some of the examples for APIs. Okay, normally we will use in our real-time project. We embed all the details into our website. Then you may ask, what is REST API? REST API or RESTful API. So what is REST API? Say for an example, the same architecture I'm going to explain. So RESTful API. So this is my client. Left hand side, I have my client. Okay. So client is nothing but our front end tool. You can front end tool, mobile or website or anything. Okay. Our desktop or anything you can take. So this is my client. And this is our server. Okay. Web server. So we have web server, right? So application server is different. This is web server. So you assume that this is the company's web server here we have. Okay. So here we have web server. So this client will ask request. Say for an example, I'm just making my website. So www dot. So this particular website, I'm going with this one. So I'm going to enter this. I'm going to enter this particular location, this particular, and I'm getting some response, right? See that I'm getting some response here. So this response is coming from the web server. So this client is asking some HTTP request. Okay. So this is HTTP request. This request is called. So what is the request? It is called HTTP request. So we do have lot of methods. Okay. So if I want to get some informations from the server, then I will ask some method called get method. Okay. Something like I want to post something. I can say for an example, I want to post something. Okay. In the Facebook, I'm adding some comments. So that will be passed as a post method. I'm making some like. So these are all something like I'm deleting some post. Okay. So delete. So delete is the method. Patch. Okay. Something like, so we do have different HTTPS request. We have, okay. So post we have, get we have, so also is some of the method. Okay. So different methods we have, it will be requested to this web server. Okay. This web server, all these methods. Okay. These are all called methods. These are all called methods. So extra, we do have different methods. This web server respond to this particular request. Whatever the request we are sending, for an example, this is a HTTPS request, right? HTTP request or HTTPS request, through different method it will ask. So for this request, this web server should respond. Okay, this web server should respond. So we will get response in different way. Okay, so response we will get different way. So what is this response? So this is our REST request. This will be our. So we will get these responses from specific format. Okay, so we'll get the response like a specific format. If you see this particular site, you can get the response different format, right? So we are seeing the picture and you are seeing the videos. So all this you are able to see the forms and everything you are able to see here, right? So these are all called response. So for this response, for different specific format, you will get, like you may get like a HTML page as a response, right? So you might be getting that response as HTML page. You can get images, right? You can get the videos. You can get something like even the different site. Okay, so you are going for JSON response. You may get XML response. See, different responses we may get. Okay, so this is called resources. Okay, this was resources. Resources means we are getting some resources from the web server. We are getting some resources. Okay. In addition to this resource, we will get something called, this is called resource. And second one is called status code. Okay, sometimes you are some URL you are typing it, and HTTP request is made to the web server, and the particular page is not available. The host itself is not available. Then what is the response code we'll get? 404 response code we'll get it, right? The same way, if it is successful, then you'll be getting response code as 200. See, different response code we might be getting from the web server to the client. Okay, so we'll get resources, we'll get status as a transfer. Okay, as a transfer. Okay, sorry, as a transfer. See, resources and status. Okay, so this is called representational state. Okay, so what is this? Representational status state transfer. So REST API, REST is nothing but it is a representational state transfer as a data resources. We are transferring it from here. Say for an example, get method, post method, put, delete methods. All this it is requesting. This web server is responding with XML, JSON format, HTML page, or a different way of response. We are getting it here, right? So that's what. Okay, so that's what we will get a response. So REST API is nothing but representational state transfer. So this is called REST API. Okay, so what is this? So representational state transfer. Sorry. Okay, so I hope you are clear. So this is what we'll get. REST API. So if you see this in this particular architecture, client and web server architecture, in between, okay, so in between some interface is happening. Okay, in between. So here some interface is happening between the client and web server. Okay, so client and web server, we are giving some interfaces. See, this interface is call it as REST API. Okay. So what is this? This interface is called it as REST API. Okay. So whatever the interface we are seeing here, so that particular interface is called it as REST API. So this is what we'll have REST API here. Okay, so I hope you are clear. So what is this REST API? And yeah, sometimes they will call it as it's a RESTful API, right? So everything is similar only. Or we can say it's a representational state transfer API. So application programming interface. So this interface is called it as REST API. Okay, so how this will be used in our IICS? So that's what we are going to see here. So what is web service? Yes, we have seen web service as a service over the network is called web service. Over the web is called web service. And API is nothing but application programming interface and REST API. So all this we have seen. And how this will be used in our IICS? Say for an example, from the front end, from the application, our IICS needs to consume the data, or from IICS need to send post some data to the applications. Then I have to use CI, or I have to use web service transformation. Okay, in order to use this web service transformation, we have to follow. So these these steps. Okay, I will send you this particular document to you. So go through this, and in order to learn this web services and APIs, you have to put some effort. Okay, so these 10 steps you have to follow in order to work with REST API. Okay, the web service, REST API, all this you have to work. So first of all, to get the response, we need to have a endpoint URL. Okay, so from where we are going to get the response, right? See here, say for an example, from the web servers, we will get the response, right? Or from the application, as I told. So here I have make my trip. Here we have airlines, different airlines, Air India, Air Canada, or Indigo, different airlines we have. So this particular airlines need to send response, right? So we need to get endpoint URL to get the response from them. So that URL you need to get in real-time project. Yes, definitely we will get it. But here I'm going to use this particular endpoint URL. So what is endpoint URL? So for REST, the web services, we need to have some URL, right? To get the say data from the URL. So I'm going to use this particular URL. So we have some, a lot of URLs are available. So I found this one, and you can use this particular, see, same kind, you have a lot of other uh, URLs are available. So you have to find the URL. So wherever we are getting the information. So this particular API will give you the to reserve a book. Okay, say for an example, I want to get some informations. So how many books are available? So it has been taken or not. So that kind of information I have to get. If you see the status, I want to get the informations, returns the status of the API. So I want to get book information, then I have to use the get method. If I want to post something, okay, submit an order. Okay, from application, I have to submit an order. So from their side, so I have to post something, right? So post method. So I have to use same way. We will have some different method. So patch, as I told, some update an order. So I want to update an order is called patch. So something like delete is called delete. See, different methods will be there. Okay, clear? So I have explained, right? So here a lot of methods will be there. So get method, post method, delete method, and patch method. So different methods will be available, right? So different methods will be available, and a lot of other methods also available. So you can use any methods. So if you want to get something from this web server, you have to use the method called get. If I want to put some values, I have to use post or put, right? And I can go for delete. Patch means updating something. So these are all the things I have to use. So for this, I'm going to use this particular API. If you open this API, you can able to see this some information they have already given here. So you can get. So this is welcome to the simple books message. And if you add here slash book, right? Slash books, then you will get this information. So this is the response. So I'm going to this particular website. I'm getting the response here, right? So as a JSON or some format. So this is called a response. Okay. So this URL you need to get. This is called endpoint URL to get the response. So first we will find this URL. Okay. So I want to check whether this URL is working fine or not, whether I can go and get the information. I can put the information, all this. So you have to download the Postman. Okay. So this is one of the tool. So API testing, they will use this particular tool called Postman tool. Okay. So Postman download, you can mention that in you can type it like Postman download. So you will get it. And so from here, you can download the Postman. So just install it. So after installing, you'll be seeing this kind of icon in your system. This kind of icon in your system, double click. So this is not a mandatory one for this, but if you want to use it, yes, you can use it. See, this is what you'll be seeing here. And if you see collections, APIs, environments, all this, you are able to see. You can go to the collections. You can click on add a new collections here. So you have to put the collection. You can give something, the collection name. Say for an example here, I have given the collection name is Postman tutorial. So you can give something like test collection or something. So if you give here, then one collection will be created. So after that, after creating it, if you want to create some request or add request, all this, yes, you can add a request. So here you can see here, I have added already a get books data, right? So this is what I have added. So if you use this get method, so if you use this one, so you can add here. If you click on this, add request, so you'll be getting something. Then from here, get. So I'm going to paste that particular URL, whatever the URL I got it from here, right? I want to test it here. Just a second, this is not moving. Okay, so here, if you see this, so I want to test this one, whether it is pinging correctly or not, whether it is sending this response or not. I can copy it here. You can send a request to the particular application. Okay, if you send the request, you will be getting the response here, right? So different way you are getting. So I'm getting the ID, name, type, all this. So this is the data I need to get it. Okay, so you can see here status 200. I told, right? So what is the status you are getting? HTTP over the HTTP. The status 200 means you are getting the response. If you are getting status 400, sorry, 404, that means you are not getting correctly. Okay, then how much time it has taken? Only milliseconds, right? And size of this particular response. And all this you can able to see here. If you want to save here, you can save it. So just to go through how to use this particular Postman for this is for API testing. Normally in real-time project, they will use. Okay. And yeah, so we have done with the second step. Third step. So in order to use this particular API, we have to create a Swagger file. Okay, so go to IICS. Okay, so I will go to IICS now. What is Swagger file? So what is Swagger file here? So Swagger file helps users build, document, test, and consume RESTful web services. Okay, so it uses the Swagger is a specification for documenting REST API. It specifies the format, URL, method, representation. I told, right, the representation to describe the REST API, and this file contains JSON file format. It is mandatory to have a Swagger file to configure IICS REST v2 connection to integrate with any REST API. So first we will go to we will check the administrator page. So we have to do the Swagger file. We have to create it. Okay. So create Swagger file, third step. So how can I create the Swagger file? Go to runtime environment, check whether both services are up and running. And here you can click on the Swagger files. Go to Swagger files. I already created some Swagger files here. So if I want, I can delete it one more time. I can create it. So you can click. So in your system, there won't be any Swagger file. So you can click on new. And here I'm going to give Swagger file name. For an example, I can give books 3. Okay. So if you want to describe something like what is the response you are getting from the API, just you can mention. And runtime environment, you can give the runtime environment URL. So this is the URL, right? So you have to put this URL wherever you want to get the informations. So this particular URL you have to put, and this is the get method, right? Yes, get method. And here API path. So in the path you have to mention. So what is the path you are going to mention here? So this is the path we are going to use in this particular path /books. So you can use this path. And that's it. There is no username and password. It is public access. You can access this directly. There won't be any username and password. And token, so nothing else. And operation ID. See here, just we have to give some name of this particular operations. Just I'm giving operation ID is books. Okay. So just I'm giving one operation ID, just books. See these things only you have to mention. So what the Swagger file will do, Swagger file will go to this URL and it will go to this path and it will get all the information. It will store it as a JSON file. Okay, it will not get it now, but you will get JSON file. Okay, so we will save it. If you save this, and if you go to the Swagger files, you are seeing the Swagger file, right? So you can download the Swagger file. Okay, so you have to download it. So we have downloaded. If you open the Swagger file, it contains the information to connect this particular host and what is the method, all this it will have information. So okay, JSON, successful operation, 200 status, 404. So all this it will have information. So okay, this is just simply a JSON file. Okay, we have created. Then add REST v2 connections. So we have created the Swagger file, right? So download it and keep it ready. So where we have to keep, I will tell you. So go to add-on connectors. So we have to add the connectors. It will not be available connections directly. Go to add-on connectors here. Just to type REST. So REST v2 connections is already available. So you can add this connector. You will be seeing this start free trial. So add it. It will be added to the connections. Okay. Yes, it will be added here. Then after adding it, so create REST v2 connection and attach Swagger file. Okay, so we have to attach a Swagger file. So I will go here and I will already create, I have already created, but I will create one more connection. Go to new. And here I'm just connecting REST v23, v3 or v23. So v23, some name I'm just giving, that's it. So the connection type is REST v2. Runtime environment is our local runtime environment. Authentication is standard authentication. And no need to mention any key store. Just you have to mention the Swagger file path. Okay. So in this file, we have the books JSON. So if you go to this file, so we have already downloaded, right? So I have downloaded this one and I have loaded into the here. Okay. So books 2 or book 1 or whatever it may be, here I kept it here. So this one I have taken books dot JSON file. So this will have only that information. That's it. And after getting it, okay, that's it. See, all this information is available. Then click on test connection. With this Swagger file, it will go and try to access this particular REST API. Okay, on the web, it will get the response from here and it will test it. Okay, it's showing that test connection is successful. The connection should be successful here. Okay, we have created connections. So up to here, we have done. So now, in order to use the web service transformation, we have to use business service component. Okay. So what is that business component? Business service component. Okay, I will go to data integration. So go to data integration here. New. Okay, here component. So we do have seen this business services, right? Configure operation in a business service and then use business service in a mapping with web service transformation. So first we have to configure operations. So just to click on this, you'll be getting business service and locations and the connections. So we can choose the connection here, REST v2, and you can use this. And here select operations. So we have selected, we have already created the operation called books, right? So it will be taken here and we have to choose this operations. So operation means that get method or method we have already created, right? So just you can click on OK. So what is the one I have to get? Just to click on this save. Okay, so business service component has been added. So in order to use this web service, you have to go with source file with the port number. Okay. I have to create a target table. say for an example, here I have created one target table. So just I will create one target table here to get the informations. I'm going to load the data into some table to show you. Okay. So whatever we are seeing here, the information we are seeing here in the status or book or something, even the postman we have seen, right? The ID, name, type, available. So these are all the four columns. I'm getting something like port number. So port, what is the port? I'm getting the response, right? So I'm just creating the table. You just create the table to load the data. So I just created the table. Okay. Source file with port number. So it's a dummy file actually. So like this, you just create one dummy file. Okay. Simply like a port and then mention that this link. Okay. So what is the link you want to mention? Is just a dummy file. That's it. Okay. We are not going to do anything here from here. Create one dummy file simply like a port and then use this particular URL. Okay. This is something like we are giving hierarchy parser or the structure parser, and we are seeing the indirect file loading, the file list concept, right? The same way here also we have to create one input file, input dummy file. Okay, so we have created this file also. So up to here we have done with all this. So now we will create a mapping. Okay, so we will create a mapping with this Swagger file, all this. So go to new, create a mapping. So this is what normally we will use. Okay, so m underscore web service transformation. So just you can use this web service transformation. So in this particular location, source is like the dummy file we have to provide. So I will use this connection and take that dummy file, the web file, right? So I will take that particular file. So go to this file. I will send you this file. So make use of this file. Instead of this URL, if you have any other API URL, you can, in order to get the information, it should be a public access. Okay. It should not have any private access. Then they won't give us. The make my trip and everything, they will have the username and password, security key, everything, right? So they are the they can able to access it, but we cannot access it. So this is the source we have to provide, and in between I'm going to have web service transformation. So here I'm going to call the web service transformation here. I will take web service here. So open the web service here. So go to web service. So choose the business service which we have created already. So you can take the business service which we have already created. Okay, we don't have anything here. I will take this one. Okay, anything is fine. So I can go to request mapping. So whatever we got from the beginning. Okay, so we have to map it here. I will open web service and the response mapping. Output field. Okay, here we have to select the operations. Then only we'll get all this. So in this particular one, you have only one operations. Just you can take request port. So in the request mapping, you have to connect this port. Okay, this way you have to connect it. After that, go to response. So here, output field. Okay, so here you can click on, no need to do anything here. Okay, I think this is not completely. Okay, so we have given the port and response mapping. Yes, now we are getting right. So if you see the response mapping, then click on this add all descendants, map all the descendants, you'll be getting fault. Okay, so you'll be having a try catch options here, response 200, and here roots. The response 200 is service, the successful response. You'll be getting root, no need to have this one, ID, name, type, These three things we have to get it right from the available one. Yes, we have to get these three things. Output field. So we need to get from the response. I can drag and drop from here to here, and I need to get the response underscore 200. It's a successful response, and go to the target. Choose a target here, target connections, and choose this API. Okay, so whatever the table we have created. So I'm just doing the truncate and load. So if you want to process this data, yes, after web service, you can process it. But I'm just loading into a table to show you that, okay, we are getting the uh, data by using get method from the API. Okay, go to field mapping. So you have to map ID, name, type, and available. Okay, whether the book is available or not. If you want port, you can take the port as well. Okay, just to save this. The mapping should be valid now. So mapping is valid. So that's it. So instead of loading into a target table, if you want to process it here, yes, you can process it by using this web service after the web service transformation. So here we are getting the information from the API, right? The same way, if you are creating Swagger file with the boot method, we can send the information from here to API. Okay, through API, we can send it to the different applications. I'm going to save this. And before running, I will show you there is no data from here, right? So now Informatica will run. There is no data. Informatica will run and it will get the information from the front end and it will get into the Informatica. It will load it into the target table. Since it is over on the network, it will take some time to complete. Okay, so it has been completed and you can see here. So all the data has been loaded from the front end to this particular table. So name of the book, what type of book, whether it is available or not. So that information we got it and we have to give them some response. So what is the way they are asking? So if I'm going to send, okay, these many datas are available, I will show you. So based on that, you will be responding, right? You'll be giving some information. Okay, I'm going to take this particular book. Then I will reserve that book. I will send again the response. Okay, I will post something to the server. Then server will act for the post one. So this is what request and response will be made between the network through API. Okay, so in our today's session, run the mapping and validate the data. Data has been loaded. And these 10 steps you have to follow to use this web service transformations. This web service is completely like a front-end technologies. And most of the project we will not use it, but some cases, some project, yes, some project we will use this web service also, the CA also, the process and everything. If you are going to use all this, you have to learn these concepts. Okay, API, web services, REST API. So something related to application server, web server, request response, some different methods. See, all this you should learn. Okay, in order to work with CA and web applications, all this. Okay, I hope you are clear. So this is what we have on the web service transformation. So we have completed all the transformations. I hope you have already practiced our previous sessions. Okay, so this is related to our application integration. Okay, so definitely in application integration also, this is what we are going to use it and kindly practice it. And yeah, If you have any questions, you can ask me now. Okay.
Yeah, hi Chandra. So as you
Mm.
mentioned that like we are learning the CDI part, similarly there's the CAI part. So it's the same that you just now explained, like it's the web service transformation in CI, or do we need to learn any other things in CAI?
No, no, CA, this is part of CA. Okay.
Okay.
This is
Mhm.
what you'll be working with CA. At the same way, you have to create a process and you have to get the response from the front-end applications and you have to process in our Informatica. After processed, you want to send the information over to the application again. You have to use some same thing like get command, put command, all this you'll be using. The same Postman, you'll be using it for the testing, for the CA also. You have to explore more and more. That's it. But this is completely related to CA.
Okay, but CI is a different component. Like we are working under CDI, so for CI we need
Yeah, yeah.
to
CA
do the
is
CI.
similar. Okay, similar. You can go to the application integration. Yeah, this is also one of the application integration. We did it now. But
Mm-hmm.
whatever we have seen, this one we have integrated data by using web service transformation, right? But here we will be creating a same way. We'll be creating a process and configuring all this. See, I told WSDL file, Swagger file, Open API. All these are related to this process. Similar. There is no differences. Okay.
Okay.
So you'll be
Yeah.
creating a new process. Yes, you will be going to the new process, and here you'll be seeing a lot of the process here. Okay, you'll be getting response, request, all this you'll be seeing here. But you need to publish it over the network. If you want to go for after modification, you have to publish it. Okay. So
Okay.
services and all this. Yeah.
Yeah, so how big is this module basically if we want to learn it by ourselves? So like how much time basically we have to give it?
If you know the front end technologies, then this is very, very, very easy only. Okay, it will not take much time. You know
Okay.
all this front end technologies, REST API, all this. If you know API related stuff, then it will not take much time. But whatever today I have explained, these
Mm.
concepts are related to CA. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Most of the project in real time, we will use CDI, but some project, okay, definitely those who are in front end technologies, right? The front end developers in that particular team, if I want to do any integration from the front end, and you can use
Mm.
this particular tool also. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Is
Thank you.
Python or Java is better option than IICS API? That yeah, I do not have any idea about this Python or Java API. Okay. Uh, but this particular tool, we will use it to connect with the front end applications. Salesforce, if you want to connect with Salesforce, yes, you have the Salesforce source, right? Connectors that you can connect. If you go to the add-on connectors, if you want to connect with Salesforce, go to administrator. So that is like similar to our Snowflake or AWS, GCP we have used, right? The same way you have to connect with Salesforce. If I want to get the data from Salesforce, you have to go to the add-on connectors. So you'll be having a Salesforce connectors here, right? So you can type Salesforce and you can use these connectors, right? Salesforce connectors and here Salesforce, this cloud connectors, all this you can use. Different connectors we have, right? Salesforce Analytics, Marketing Cloud, so Workday. So all this you can use. These connectors you can use for the Salesforce connectivity. Okay, so any other questions? Yeah, from tomorrow we will see the project related stuff. Okay, so how we will, so if you are already working on Informatica Power Center, yeah, it's similar to work on IICS. all the deployment and everything. Okay, so but we'll see how to do the deployment. We cannot integrate any deployment tool here, but I will explain. Okay. Yeah, that's what. See, anyone tried? That is not actually error. That is actual method only. But anyone tried? Have you tried connecting parameters? Have you created parameters? Have you tried? So how to maintain version control? Version control in IICS. See, version control will be maintained through Git. Okay. So through Git, it will be integrated. So there is no version control directly in IICS. From any of the uh, version control tool, it will be integrated. So mostly from the Git, it will be integrated. Okay, all the versions. Okay, if you are getting error in the parameter, then tomorrow I will show you. Okay, so that alone is pending, right? So that I will show you tomorrow. No worries. But this one web service, try to do it. And let me know if you are getting any issues here. But you have to follow the same method which I have explained. Okay. If you are changing anything, one single method, then it will not work. Okay, you have to follow the same method, whatever I have explained here. Okay, but unfortunately these videos are these steps are not available in the over the network also, and even if it is available, that's very hard to follow. Okay, use this particular video on these steps for web service transformations. Okay, thank you all. We will meet tomorrow same time with same meeting link. So 3 more sessions are pending. So we'll be completing by Friday. Okay. Thank you all. From tomorrow onwards, it will be a project session. Uh, I'm not going to take from IICS. Okay. Yeah. Thank you all. We'll meet tomorrow, same time.